Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now today's episode is the second part of my Download Festival specials. Last weekend I was lucky enough to attend the whole weekend at Download. I had genuinely one of the times of my life. I got to interview loads of bands, and on this episode you're going to hear interviews with Those Damn Crows, Let Live, We Came as Romans and Tom Morello. So I really do think it's quite a good episode with a great variety of guests, a great choice of genres of music, and it's just a lot of fun. Hopefully you've listened to the first part, which came out a couple of days ago with Corrosion of Conformity, Sleep Theory, Head Wreck and Story of the Year. If you have listened to that, a massive thanks to you all. Thanks to the band for sharing the episodes. It really means a lot, and it's done really, really well in just a couple of days that it's been out. But today's episode is huge. Truly, it's probably the best 4 interviews I've done at a festival, and I've put them all in one package for you guys at home today. I'm extremely proud of these episodes, and to sit there and now have Tom Morello on Mark and Me in his dressing room on a one-to-one interview still blows my mind. And that's coming up on today's special. But I want to start today's episode with a returning guest, and it's the one and only Those Damn Crows. I always enjoy this part of the podcast, but I love saying it. Welcome back to Mark and Me.
Bro, great to be back, man.
It's really good to see you, and I think it's 2 years since we sat down on this sofa.
Wow, is it really?
Yeah, I think it was. And we talked about the albums, we talked about your tattoos, the legends in the industry,
Yes.
We talked about the first gigs. As we're sat here at Download, what I'm kind of interested in, with your background and growing up in the music, the first festival experience. Let's mix it up a bit today.
Festival.
Even if it wasn't Download, and we can talk about other festivals.
Do you know, it might have been... that's mad, because the boys were talking about this the other day, and they were on about Leeds and Reading. I can't even remember. What a shit answer.
No, you can lie and say, oh, is this Reading 20 years ago that had the best line? Those lineups used to be iconic at Reading and Leeds.
Yeah.
The early ones. My God.
Yeah, it was insane, actually. Ronnie's had the best one. There was so many amazing bands on there. I'm sorry, dude.
Don't worry, it's absolutely fine.
I can't even remember.
All right, let's pretend that you're going to have your own festival.
Yes.
Here, and you can have the headliner yourselves. I think you've worked your way up now. You can have that.
Right.
What friends would you bring with you to make the perfect lineup for a day? That's an easy one. That's
supporting us.
Yeah.
Oh God, the
and
ego.
You can go crazy if you want. You can have like Tool supporting you if you want. Like, go crazy,
bro. The Fools have got to be on there.
Yeah.
Queen will be on there.
Wow.
Aerosmith will be on there.
This is lovely.
I
bought a ticket already.
They're like the classic bands, with the big choruses. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, like the boys came down and watched Limp Bizkit yesterday. Some bangers in that set, didn't it? You know what I mean? I'm excited to see Bush later.
I've just interviewed Gavin Rosdale.
Yeah, he was literally in the porta cabin across from us. So
what a legend! What a band!
Yeah, all those bands in the '90s. Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam's got to be in there.
Yeah.
Green Day, Nirvana. That's what I'm born.
Lineup, man.
That's what I was born, dude. So any of that. No Effects.
Yeah.
Less Than Jake.
It's a perfect festival. Crowfest, something like that?
Crowfest.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's do it. In Bridgend, look out.
I'll take 20% of all the tickets because I think that lineup's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And if you dream it, they will come.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Mark Stock. That sounds better. So, it's been 2 years. Life has been pretty hectic. You did very fucking well with your album.
Pretty good.
How was that feeling?
The top spot was unbelievable. Getting number 1 is a dream come true. And not just for us, for everybody that supported us throughout the years, all the fan base got us there. The support has been incredible. And we've taken a bit of time off. And I say time off from shows, but we've been writing. And the next album, dude, it's nearly in the can.
That's amazing.
Writing wise, we just got to go and record it, and yeah, we're super buzzed about it. It's a bit different to what we've done, but still got the killer hooks and the killer choruses. So I'm buzzing about it. Can't wait.
How long are we talking? Do you reckon it'll be the end of this year? Do you think it will be next year now?
I have no idea. All I know is that it'll be done and dusted this year.
That's
when
perfect.
it's going to be released,
Yeah.
I do not know. It's not my decision. It's the powers that be, management and label. But as far as a songwriter, being the songwriter, and we're just buzzed about having, I nearly said how many songs then, another batch of songs that just make us excited about performing again. Do you know what I
How
mean?
magical is that?
It's the best feeling in the world, bro. For me,
And we need another number one, because I feel like, imagine me coming up to you when you were 14, 15 and saying you're going to have a number one album.
It's insane, bro.
Yeah.
On my mantelpiece, I've got the number one trophy
Oh.
from the official charts, and
Look, Mum and Dad, I've made you proud.
I know.
Yeah.
Every now and again, I look up and just like catches you out. It's, oh yeah, I got one of those.
It's not
It's
every
not,
band that can say that,
It's not normal.
No.
So, chuffed to bits.
I was going to say, what's the rest of the year looking like? And then I got myself, I just had Shinedown on the podcast, and I was talking
amazing.
to Brent, and I was having a long chat. What a singer, by the way.
Amazing, dude.
And he started singing Black Hole Sun on the podcast.
Oh, bro.
And the hairs on my neck were sticking up, and I was like, fucking hell. I didn't stop him. He was just singing away. I was like, and I said to him, like, you got one hell of a gig this year. Like, it's incredible that I can pay money to go and see Shinedown.
Yeah.
It's incredible I can go and see you. And Coed and Cambria, one of the most influential bands I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And you're all sharing the stage
It's an
in an
amazing
arena.
lineup. It's so cool for us because obviously Shinedown are just a machine.
Yeah.
An unbelievable monster. And just the success all around the world. The fact that it's an American band, which is really cool because we grew up listening so influential American bands for us.
Yeah.
And they're one of the biggest right now, doing their thing. And then, as you said, Coheed as well, are just so influential. The sound, the vibe, it's a killer lineup, and we are so blessed to be a part of it. And I don't care how long we are on stage with them. It's arenas, and it's gonna be wild, bro. I can't wait.
I wonder how your brain goes into that, knowing that, and it's with absolute full respect, you're there to open up this incredible evening with Coed.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you could fucking headline. It's unbelievable.
Sick, innit?
You've got this mindset to go there and know that, and like I said, with full respect, a lot of people have bought tickets for Shinedown.
Yeah.
You
Of
have
course.
that moment, like Coed, to win new fans that
Yeah.
night.
Yeah, especially in Europe.
And, go to Europe and be
Yeah.
like, we're out of our comfort zone here.
Exactly.
But half of the people tonight might leave and go, what's that Crow band again? I want to go and check them out.
Exactly, man. And that's the beautiful thing, man. Is we are in a position where we're getting to see thousands of people in one room, And I'd like to think there's some similarities with us in Shinedown. Those big
Massively,
singy
man.
choruses,
Huge hooks,
yeah.
massive sing-along melodies.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of how they produce their albums, and Eric Bass, who I've spoke to a couple of times. I'm a big fan of him and what he does.
He's a genius.
The sound, it's their sound, So, and I love how the boys speak about Eric and how influential he is, and the sound of the band and the production. And so, hats off, man. Can't wait, bro. Honestly, it's so amazing to be a part of it.
As much as the confidence is there off the back of a number one album, the touring, you're fucking seasoned pros at this point. Do you still have nerves when you look at the poster and think, like, they're arenas, they're big, we can't not bring the A game every night?
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm not sure it's nerves. What's incredible is today playing the second stage, and we played the main stage twice, but today is the first time we played the second stage. And what's crazy is that we haven't played a show since our tour in November last year.
Is that how long it's been?
Yeah, because we've been writing, and we had a little bit of time off. And I didn't think about today until yesterday when we turned up on a hotel, and those nerves kicked in, bro, like a couple of hours ago. And it was, holy shit, my ticker heart just started, whoa. And but then, the hi-hats start on the drum kit, and then it's like, bang, we're home. You know what I mean? And it's, so I'm just super grateful to be in a position we can play to thousands of people with our music, with kick-ass bands like Shinedown and Coheed, and just have the time of your life. Because as you said earlier, as a 14-year-old, 13, 14-year-old, I wrote my first song at 13.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. And to think, I was
That's
going to say
turned
how many
into
years
now.
later,
Yeah.
we got a number one album,
Yeah.
songs you've written, crowd are singing back, and now you're singing with a global band on a bill that's incredible, Shinedown, Coheed. It's nice to be in the mix.
It's unbelievable, but it comes with hard work.
Sure, absolutely.
It comes as a reward. No one ever says this is luck.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
don't
not.
get that slot just because you fell in the right place at the right time.
You're so right, dude, and I
You've
appreciate
worked
you
for
saying
this.
it. I appreciate you saying it because, people sometimes think, oh yeah, the Crows, but nah, we've been doing this since I was 13, 14. It doesn't happen overnight. Well, it didn't with us anyway. It's graft. Graft first, talent second. We just didn't quit. Kept going, and that's where we are.
I look at that poster, I look at that gig, I look at the experience, I look at it as the tail end of a year where you've not got rusty because you've taken time off to be writing, which is so
Yes.
important. Your mindset going into that gig, let's win new fans, let's go around Europe, let's make the best of every night.
Yep.
How the fuck do you put a set list together for that? Because
Yes.
fans are going to want to hear the hits that do know of you.
Absolutely.
But you must be itching right now to play new songs.
Yeah, 100%. There's obviously big songs off the last 4 albums that we have to put in a set. If you don't put those in a set, people
No.
are left angry. But because we can write a good chorus, those songs are the ones that the crowd want to hear. They sing back.
Yeah.
And we got obviously in a situation where we're going to be playing to new fans that never heard our stuff before. So we have to pick the songs with this crowd participation. And whether they know the songs or not, they can sing the oh or get clapping and stuff. But thankfully they go hand in hand when we write songs. It's not just about the sentiment of a song or the power behind the meaning behind a song. It's can the crowd sing that back to you instantaneously? And they'll have to be in the set just to get them on board.
My
Pull 'em
final
in.
question, because we're getting told
Sure,
time's
man.
up. You know the score. You came on last time. You get to pick a song that's played at the end. It can be any song in the world. But as it's, I think you picked Black by Pearl Jam. I think.
did.
There you go.
Bro.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Oh,
And I was wondering
the
what you
best.
wanted. Now you've let the fucking bar be so high.
Yeah,
What's
it's
the
too
closest
high.
thing we could pick on the spot today that would at least do it justice? I know you can't get Eddie Vedder's incredible masterpiece of songwriting to be topped, but is there something close that you'd love to be played at the end of today's episode?
Does it have to be quick? Can it be fast? Can it be...
Anything you want, as long as it's not a 22-minute instrumental, that would do my head in. Anything you want in the world. Something will come to your heart before anything else.
Johnny Cash, Hurt.
Fucking hell. That's the closer for all of the episodes.
What? I know he didn't write it, but fuck, he sounds like he did.
What would you do if you released a song and someone came along and took your song with full respect and made it something on another level where Nine Inch Nails must be like,
Dude,
give up?
Trent is up there as a songwriter for me. He's unbelievable, right? But when Johnny Cash did that, dude, it was like he penned it. Every single syllable when he sings is just, you can hear the pain in his voice.
Oh,
Incredible,
man.
dude. And the video's insane too.
Thank
It's
you for
amazing.
coming back on, dude.
I loved it.
And I will see you because I interviewed Coheed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they're sorting me out with coming to Birmingham. I'm going to get there early because I think I'll do some interviews then.
Yeah.
Let's sit down, have a drink and catch up.
Amazing. You jammy bugger. What a ticket.
I know. Fucking unbelievable.
Thank you, bro. It's class as always.
Awesome. Nice to see you, dude.
Thank you, bro.
Everyone I know goes away in the air, and you could have it all. My empire of dirt, I will let you down. I will make you hurt.
So that was my interview with me and Shane from Those Damn Crows. My God, it was so exciting to catch up with him, a great chat, and he's just a lovely fella. I'm so happy that band got a #1 album in the UK, which still is so deserving. And to hear that they're going on tour with Shinedown and Coed in Cambria within the UK and Europe at the end of the year, that's got to be Gig of the Year already. Seriously, that's going to be insane. So a massive thanks for Shane for coming back on. And again, those Damn Crows were absolutely phenomenal at the festival. And it's so good to see them back gigging. Next up is another returning guest to Mark and me. And this time, it's the wonderful Let Live. On the podcast, guys, I always love it when I can do an introduction and say welcome back to Mark and me. Firstly, we've talked about your favourite albums, we've talked about the first live experiences you had, but for each of you, and this is quite a deep one, and I'm going to start really deep. When you come to a festival like this, what's the mindset before you go on stage? Because obviously there's people that will come here to discover new bands, there's people that will come and be hardcore and be like, I want to go and see Let Live, they're going to put on this great show. But what is it to kind of go into that mindset on stage of there's going to be people that don't know who we are, and by the end of this, we want them to go home straight away and fucking download Let Live and become their new favourite band. So for each of you, what's your mindset before you go on stage to try and hope that there's going to be a kind of big victory for you personally? Let's start deep.
Yeah, I mean, that is you know what's funny about that, about it being deep and beginning this way, is that for me, honestly, I really just try to clear my mind.
Yeah.
I think that if I'm anticipating or expecting or trying to forecast what's about to happen, it's too much. It's overwhelming. I have a really imaginative and overactive mind as it is baseline, so I do my best to try to clear my mind and allow for whatever is going to come through. If I'm to be a lightning rod for whatever's going to happen on stage, I need to make as much space as possible for that to be received. That's what I do.
With that, obviously not having any expectations, not having that clear mind, does the anxiety or the stress or the nerves ever overpower that, or are you too much in control that you know whatever happens, I'm here to fucking do this and that's all I want to do?
Yeah, I mean, it really is that. Once you face the idea of said anxieties, nerves, etc., and again offer them a space, like there's no way that I'll ever relieve myself completely of these things, so I give them space within, whether that be my spirit, my mind, my heart, whatever. I give them space, and in doing so, it makes it a lot easier to satiate that enough so they don't try and grab the wheel, don't try to jump in front. But I think it's a real admission that I don't have control. I don't really have control. I'm just allowing myself to experience whatever is going to come or is currently happening at that time.
Amazing. Is this the same for yourself, or is it a completely different kettle of fish?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely the same. I don't really. It's funny because when you ask that question, I look down and try to kind of process like the difference, like how different it is for different artists and different bands.
Of course, man.
I think something about Let Live is it's the community, and I think delivering, what we do best. I think a couple days ago we played in front of 50 or 60 people, and it's the same exact show as it would be if we played in front of 80,000 people. I don't really, personally, the same as Jay, I mean, don't really go on with any sort of expectation. I don't think we're trying to impress anybody. I don't think we're trying to win anybody over. I don't think it's this competitive endeavor for me personally. I think I just kind of get on and just play and just kind of do what I do, and you kind of sink into this other realm of life, and we just perform and enjoy every minute of it. And to learn to kind of embrace and be thankful for the opportunity that we're even here. To be able to be a part of this is something that we're very lucky to have. I don't know.
I'm sorry to be so deep and so serious.
No, I love this.
It's
cool.
important because otherwise you can tell me your favourite albums, but what about yourself? Are you feeling like I'm going to hide behind my kit and be like, oh, it's okay?
Well, I feel like it's usually harder for people to see me anyways, but kind of going off what Jeff was saying, it's we played a great, amazing show the other day to like 50 people, and I feel like it's the same energy we would bring to a festival like this, where just we're being granted a greater audience and just want to put on a great show and just be appreciative of that.
Perfect. And for each of you, when I grew up, I think my first gig was Green Day on their Dookie tour. I saw Billy Joe Armstrong playing When I Come Around, and I was like, I want to do that for the rest of my life. So good.
Yeah.
For each of you, did you have that moment of somebody in front of you performing that gave you that role model moment of, I want to do this for the rest of my life? Because as a frontman, was there a certain individual? I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but I can't even think where you'd start because of the way you are, your stage performance, your persona. But something must have sparked for you to make you who you are today.
Yeah, I mean, my dad was an artist.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do kind of think that I had like this intrinsic desire to be an artist. I think that's kind of easy to say that, but honestly, it was watching Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly play the Enchantment Under the Sea dance in Back to the Future 1 and 2.
Perfect.
That's like quite literally the charm, the swag, the danger. It was dangerous. He was literally playing Chuck Berry before Chuck Berry had played Johnny B. Good, so he actually had shocked the crowd. I just think that it sounds silly, but it really was the moment I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I think I told you last time, too, on a physical live level, it was accidentally stumbling upon Deftones, Chino jumping off of the monitor or the PA stack in 1996 as a kid. That's like the live version. So that, I guess, a composition of all those things is what really.
Dude, you're going to appreciate this. Before I came to the festival,
oh, dude,
Diamond
one of
Eyes,
the
man.
greatest albums, dude. I remember when they came with that, and it was like, to put that as track 1, I think it was the first single too.
it was.
It just, and even in the video, right? It like breaks through the glass. You know, there's like that. It's just honestly one of the most deservedly revered bands in our scene today, for sure.
And what I think's important is everyone always talks about White Pony around the fur, but if you can have a band that have an album that can be so respected for the musicianship, everything like that, it's magical. And the fact it's not so obvious.
I think that I truly believe that Deftones are one of the most prime examples, prototypically being like, this is how you do your thing.
Yeah.
This is what art is. You know, heavy art, sexy art, groovy art. Like, they do it all, and they do it all tastefully. It's not genre sampling or hopping. It's real. It's authentic. I think they're one of the best to ever do it, without
Ever.
a doubt. Yeah.
He's set the bar pretty high with Michael J. Fox. Marty
And living
McFly.
proof for that too. With going back to the Deftones, we were just talking about that. How they still, those songs, those records are timeless, and they're living proof of that. Even like generations later, they're still on top of their game. You know what I mean? Which
Do you
is
know
such a
what
beautiful
I
thing.
love about Deftones? Right now, it feels like they're the biggest they've ever been.
Yeah, we were just
How
saying
great
that.
is that?
Yeah, it's writing timeless records. You know what I mean? That just that saw the light of day all over again, but even bigger than it ever was. And it's such a beautiful thing to witness.
Welcome to
right?
Deftones podcast here
We
with
love
Let
this.
Live.
Shout out, yeah,
It
every
always
time.
ends up.
Shout out, shout out.
Come on then, who's your influence?
I mean, I'm just gonna pair it off of them. Say the Deftones tours we did back in the day, my favorite tours ever.
I swear.
No, it's
Emma's
just-
like, ka-ching.
I know. My influences came from actually very, very this whole little subculture of actually punk rock, Christian punk rock music in a small, tiny venue called Chain Reaction in Anaheim, where I was 16 years old and used to stay in line for. I was one of those kids. I needed like the best seat in the venue. I was 16 or 15 years old, and there was this band called Off the Record, and I just became so obsessed with the way he played his guitar. It was the first time I ever heard like a pinch harmonic, but performed differently. And I was like that little kid who just followed him around. Those are some of the craziest shows I'd ever been to. And then from there, it was like Slick Shoes, Dogwood, MXPX,
Amazing.
and then POD, and it just kind of transcended from there. But till this day, that punk rock for Jesus subculture was some of the craziest shows I'd ever seen in my life. Granted that I grew apart from that, but that did it for me, going to those very, very small shows, and then of course going to OG Let Live shows and watching this guy perform, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what the hell is happening? So yeah, I just wanted to shout out to them. Yeah.
Jason, when I saw you, we did an interview before your set at 2000 Trees, and afterwards I spoke to, do you know James, the organizer, the owner of the festival, James? He said to me, oh my fucking God, he was climbing up on the ring, he did this, he did that. My heart was racing because I don't know if we're insured for hanging off this. Does that make you feel like you've got to be put in a box, or do you feel like that makes me want to just go even wilder next time? Or do you just not have a limit? Are you just like, there's no actual barrier, I'm just going to go there and feel what feels right for me?
Yeah. I mean, truly the most organic way and most honest way I can say this is like I genuinely am just trying to open myself up to an experience and a moment. Like, it's not about anything else other than a exemplary, like an exhibition of, that's my idea of freedom. That's my idea of liberation. I'm not saying it's for everybody by any means, but I do think that we operate on levels energetically. I think that people can understand that when you're being honest, or if they allow themselves to see that there's a level of authenticity. And I'm just trying to offer that to whoever wants it, and you know, admittedly to people that may not want it or may not know they want it, right? And also to challenge and be, you know, confronting, not disrespectfully or like for like. So I'm not trying to disrupt everyone's feelings at that time. I'm just trying to show that I feel free to feel mine, and I would encourage people to do the same. That's really all it is.
I'm very conscious that you were sapling for about 2.5 hours. So I don't want to disrupt your pattern. But what I do want to say is I always love speaking to you guys. You put on the best shows. People always talk about you after the festivals for days.
That's cool.
You leave an impact on this industry where there's so many people out there.
Thank you.
And just keep fucking doing what you do because it means so much.
Thank you,
And
brother.
you're fucking legend. So thank you for coming
Thank
back
you,
on.
Thank you. Man.
Thank you.
I'm going to put you under the pressure now. There's one final song that plays out on the podcast. You did this last time. What's the song that means a lot to you that you'd love that would be played out on today's episode? On the spot, what's the song that comes to your head first by any band in the world?
Keep Me by Novo Amor.
Perfect. Thank you, my friend. You're only having one choice because I'm not splitting it. So that was my interview with me and Let Live. It was so good to have the whole band together. I interviewed them, I think, last year at 2000 Trees, and it was great to see them at Download. Yes, everyone was talking about Jason because of his incredible stage presence, going into the crowd, climbing up amplifiers, swinging from barriers. And I think I saw a lot of videos online afterwards that were kind of loving the fact that he didn't give a shit. And the sound guys were cutting off their sound because he was just literally climbing on the frames of the tent. But that's what it's all about. And I was kind of thinking to myself, surely by now, if you book Let Live, you know you're going to get a show where nothing is straightforward. You never can plan for it. It's going to go crazy. And that's what I love about Let Live. I've seen a couple of their videos over the last few days of their gigs in London, and it just looks wild. So keep doing what you do because they're one of the best bands out there. Next up is a first-time guest on Mark and Me, and a band that are getting so much hype. So it brings me great pleasure to say, on Mark and Me next, on this Download special, I'm joined by We Came as Romans. Guys, welcome to the Mark and Me podcast.
Oh yeah,
Thanks for having us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, this is your first time on Mark and Me. I've had bands on 3 or 4 times, but what I'm always intrigued by when any band first comes on the podcast is everybody has a musical journey, and it always starts with you're probably a child, you're probably earning some money, and you go and buy that first record, and hard-earned money, you probably wanted Stone Cold Classic. It might be a shite album, it might be something that you dreaded, but everyone had that journey. Do you remember going to the record store with your own hard-earned money and investing in an album? And do you remember that first one that you bought? Even if it's a cringy one that you don't tell people as a guilty pleasure, but I'm interested. Surely you remember that first album you invested in.
Yeah, man. I'll say I definitely owned records before this, but the first time, like, I rode my bike to the store with my money from cutting lawns and bought an album. It was Blink-182, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, and changed my life.
I was going to say that's a not only a great foundation, but a life-changing album.
Yeah, man. I had the Liberty Spike haircut, and my friends and I had a band, and we were terrible, and we played in my parents' garage, and honestly, really good time in my life.
He set the bar pretty high already, and now I'm thinking he's not left you much.
I mean, my family, like, pretty religious growing up background, so they would like, it was a slow get into music, so it took a minute, but we'd buy records as like a family. So they'd be like, we're getting, Eiffel 65. They got this song, I'm Blue, that's out. Everyone's freaking out. We're going to go get that record, But then when Dave got to go get my own record, I think it was Adrenaline by Deftones. Was,
oh my God.
The first one where I just heard the name and everyone was like, Deftones are so cool. And Linkin Park, was like kind of also making their appearance, doing that thing. So I remember I had a burnt copy of the Linkin Park that I knew I was going to get from a buddy. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get this other one, this Deftones, start here, and got Adrenaline, and just became a fan ever since. So
what I love about that, Adrenaline.
Oh, sorry, man.
No, it's fine.
Speaking of the like religious stuff, my family was like pretty religious too. So all the albums I got had to be the edited versions.
Yeah.
And so another album that meant a lot to me that changed my life was Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Chocolate Starfish, hot dog flavored water, and it was the edited version.
Oh my Lord.
And let me tell you, a
half
few
the record's
songs on that
gone.
album are just like Fred Durst, every single word just bleeped out. I'm like, I don't know what he's saying, but this song rips.
That's so good that like the two you've mentioned are both here this weekend as headliners, which is cool.
Yeah.
But
Dude, we've been following Limp Bizkit around, and it's been pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. We had Limp Bizkit last night, and then you talked about Linkin Park.
Oh, Linkin Park, yeah.
Yeah.
We just played with Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park.
Like how epic is that? You know, I mean,
it's nice to say out loud.
Seriously, I mean,
I texted my dad, and he was like, "This is sick, son. Good job, finally."
No, I remember getting Hybrid Theory in my stocking for Christmas, and just like losing my shit, and to be sharing festival billing with them. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
It's incredible. And what I loved, you said, you got Adrenaline by Deftones. Most people's journey started with Around the Fur.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of got that breakthrough moment. And then people went back and was like, oh, there's this other album by them prior to this. So you starting at the beginning, your journey just got better and better as they evolved.
Yeah, especially the recording just also got, I feel like very much the quality got a lot better, but it was really cool because now I could understand the Deftones a little bit more from Origin compared to that. But this is just such a great band, and I feel like with all the bands that we've just mentioned, those are the bands that I feel like, even like bands like Incubus and stuff, I feel like they're just bands that I grew up with and I evolved with. And you know what I mean? And that's always been a thing with their records. So I feel like I'm still like a fan even when they do come out with new music or something like that.
And the fact that they're
really
now
cool.
bigger than they've ever been is what
wild.
a credit to the industry. Mm-hmm. It's insane. So live music changed for me. I tell this story a lot, but I was very lucky at the age of 12. My parents let me go to my first gig. Long story short, it was Green Day on their Dookie tour.
Oh, hell yeah.
Damn.
So I was like, When I Come Around is the greatest song ever. How's they do this? And I saw 3 people on stage and expected it to be like a 5-piece. And this was before they had the extra guitarist and all the percussion and a keyboard player. And I came home that night and I was like, I want to be in a band. Like, Mum, Dad, I want to be Billy Joe Armstrong. Like, I will do anything. Did you guys have a great first gig? Surely it wasn't Deftones, Linkin Park, or Limp Bizkit. Surely it would have started smaller as a foundation. Was it a great first gig, or can you not remember who it was?
No, I mean, I have a story I tell pretty regularly. I was already in a band at this point. Long story short, I was in a middle school cover band, and we played our talent show, and I was just hooked on the energy of performing, and that's all I wanted to do. I was like, I want to be in a band, and show was sweet. People had to watch us because we were in the talent show, and it felt awesome. And but several years later, I went to a concert. I saw The Bled opening for The Used, and that show like really made me change like my musical direction. Like I started listening to heavier music after that, and after that show, I was like, I don't want to be in a Christian pop punk band anymore. I want to start playing some heavy stuff, and called up a few of my friends, and we started a new band. And a lot of my Christian pop punk fans and friends were pretty upset with me for totally changing into this like really heavy band, and that band eventually turned into We Came as Romans. But yeah, that show was incredible. I was 15 years old, just getting the shit kicked out of me on the floor watching these bands, and I was like, what is this chugging breakdown thing? This is insane.
Yeah.
And
Do you know the Bled are one of the most underrated bands I think
Yes.
of
They
all
are.
time? They
That's
don't
the
get
Flask
talked
is
out of
so good,
Fucking
man.
incredible.
Their albums still hold up. Like I listened
Yeah.
to them today, and I'm like, all these, like they were just. I think they were ahead of their time, man.
I agree.
Honestly.
Massively, absolutely unbelievable. And The Used, they taught me that you could be really fucking heavy, but you could write a melody and a chorus
Yeah.
that sticks in your head forever. It's not
agree.
like Slayer or Pantera, which are great, but it's really fucking heavy.
They were like a transition band for me. That because of their choruses and the melodies that they put into their songs, it made me more accepting of like the kind of heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And I was going to see them, but The Bled opened, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do.
Yeah, and it totally changed my life.
So now it's a flip side. He's now raised the bar with the Bled and the Used.
Oh, dude. I
So
mean,
now you're gonna have to
my-
bring your A game.
My first concert that like I went to that was the real like big show was Rush. They did their 30th anniversary tour, and I went with my dad, and it was fucking awesome. They played for like 2 hours. It was absolutely insane, and like I'm one of my favorite bands is Tool. So like
Yeah.
I think that like that is like my dad's generation of Tool. You
It
know
is,
what I
the
mean?
musicianship,
So
yeah.
it's like songs that are like 10 minutes long, and so that was the first like kind of where I was like, dang, this is like these guys are actually crazy musicians doing this. But I think the big thing wasn't really a concert that got me into the music, but I remember my dad was a principal, and so he was super strict, and I got caught smoking weed when I was like in basically like middle school going to high school, and my dad was just like, all right, you're grounded, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, the whole thing. And eventually
It's yourself you've let down. You've not let me down.
well, they had this show that came back called Headbangers Ball, and it like just started, and I was like, well, on Saturdays it comes on at midnight. My dad's like, all right, we'll stay up, we'll watch it. So like every Saturday midnight, and I just eventually I didn't even like wasn't even like not like I was like going out or anything, but I was just like I just want to watch this, and seeing all the bands, all these up and coming bands, all these new artists, the bands like Under Oath and things like that just started like popping up out of nowhere. And then I was like, there is so much more than just what's on the radio. And that rabbit hole, I think, just kept making me envision being like, I want to do this. I want to play stages like that. Or you watch a live video from like a band like Unearth, and you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I think just this like surge of all these videos and all these crazy things happening outside of my bubble made me just want to like stay up late and like think of that and be like, I want to be on stage. I want to do that. I want this. And I think that was accidental manifesting for where we are now. So I hold those memories very close, and it sometimes doesn't even have to be a show that triggers something.
No.
It can just be a piece of art that someone made that it shows up on your TV or on your screen that you can be inspired by. So for me, Headbangers Ball was a huge thing.
I sound like a granddad, but I miss those days, and I miss watching Beavis and Butthead and
Yeah,
discovering the bands
yeah.
they're watching. Because they'd be like, this is
Dude.
Pantera. And I'm like,
Beavis
fuck
and
me, this is
Butthead.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they've discovered, I got all the bands like Sublime. I was like, these are amazing.
Yep.
Silverchair.
Yeah.
All these bands. And I was like, I would never have discovered them because there wasn't streaming. There wasn't Spotify. So then you'd
Yeah.
watch it and be like, writing it down.
Yep.
And then go to the record store.
Pick up a record,
Yeah.
didn't know what you were getting. Yeah.
And then you'd justify, even if the album wasn't great and you bought it off the back of a single, because you spent $12 of your own money, you'd be like, I'm going to listen to this and I'm going to make myself love it because
Yep.
I can't get another album for fucking 3
This
weeks.
is
Yeah,
true.
dude.
So
for
it's-
And
sure.
you knew all the friends that had those records. Who's like, I bought it. I invested too.
Exactly.
You couldn't consume music back then as quickly as you can now.
No.
You know, you'd have
It's
to go
too
back to the
disposable
store
now.
and-
Like,
yeah.
listen
I
to this
love
album.
vinyl. You can
Yeah.
you gotta run through the whole thing.
It's like it's hard for people to listen to albums front to back a lot of the times nowadays. It's like you just got to drop singles, and a lot
Yeah.
of bands are kind of starting to do that. They just drop singles, and
And I really don't want to turn into granddad podcast, but there's a lost art of an album. where people would think about track 7 belongs here because it should be track 7, and it's not the start of the journey, it's the end.
Exactly.
Now it's
exactly.
like, I've got, I go and get an album now, and it's like, pre-save this album, and 6 of the tracks have been brought out as singles, and I'm like, this isn't the magical moment where I get the album, I push play, and I'm like, let's see where you're going to take us.
And even just like the physical, not having the physical album artwork anymore. It's
reading
it's
the
strange.
lyrics and the smell of an inlay.
Yep.
And, welcome to Granddad Podcast. This is the one.
Back in my day.
I'm all about it,
I
dude.
remember when I was a boy.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm conscious of time, and what I do on this podcast is, as it's all wrapped up and the podcast is edited, there's a song that plays at the very end, and the reason it changes on every episode is you guys get to choose it. So what song means a lot to you in the history of music? So I'm going to put you under the spot.
Oh, damn.
You both get a choice today because I like you both. And I might make you wrestle to then see which one wins, or I'll just decide when I'm at home, or I'll do a snippet and mash up the two. But is there a song, when I ask the question, that comes to your heart and soul above any other that you absolutely love, that you would love to be the outro music for today?
I always
Oh yeah, that sounds.
If you agree on it, then that's fucking amazing.
So
Yeah,
I just
dude.
gotta say, this song is all about whether you're making a memory with a friend, or you're just making a memory in your head, or you've had a long day.
Dude, you play it on when it's a good day,
or
bad
good
day,
bad day.
Yeah.
Let
Listen to the build up here.
all your shit go. Like set aside all the hardship.
Yeah.
Play the song. Take a picture by filter.
Oh
and
my lord!
Just let the
fucking
wings
epic
out.
song.
Go flying in the sky for a bit. Let your worries go. And just enjoy. And remember, you're human.
It's
you're
like-
not supposed to have this shit figured out. So go have fun.
It's like one of the few songs that the whole band actually likes.
Do you know I bought that album without hearing anything just because of the cover?
Oh,
I went to
no
the
way.
record store
Sick.
and I was like, that's a sick cover.
The orange
Bought
blue.
it, went home, it's like a blue merge into the orange.
Yep.
Went home, put it on, I was like, this is the best money I've ever spent. Like,
Yeah.
band mode.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
That's like a
dude.
full
Shit.
360 moment now of
We've-
being a kid again and going to the record store.
We
Oh,
don't
yeah.
like doing acoustic sets
No.
at all. It's just not our vibe. But we've like made a pact. We're like, if we do an acoustic set ever again, we're covering that song.
Definitely. That's the demand in the rider. We want beers,
Yeah.
we want this, and we want to be able to play Filter.
This
And we're just
song,
gonna
yeah.
play Filter over and over again
Yeah.
for 30 minutes. Same
It,
song.
it stops bar fights at my local bar. It's a good jam.
Incredible.
I pop it on and everyone's like, okay, man, I'm sorry. And then,
I'm going to say I love you and leave you because these guys are going to be like, look, they're running over. So thank you for coming on the podcast, guys.
dude,
Thanks,
thank you so
man.
much.
So that was the wonderful We Came as Romans, a great band. It was so good to welcome them to Mark and Me. Like I said, it's the first time they've been on, but it won't be the last. A great band, great reviews all weekend, and it's just a band that I think are going to get bigger and better as time goes on. So welcome to Mark and Me, and like I said, you're always welcome back. Now, to end today's episode has to be done in true style, and to know that I'm joined by the Rage Against the Machine guitarist, yes, Tom Morello, is unbelievable. I never thought this interview would happen. We got to do it in his dressing room. I got one of his plectrums. It was so magical, and it's one of my highlights of my whole career of podcasting. He's such a great guest. I wish I got longer. I know when people listen to these interviews at festivals, I get comments like, I would love an hour, but this was 45 minutes before he went on stage. I don't want to ruin any of the content because it's great. He's one of the most interesting people I've ever spoken to, and they say never meet your heroes, but honestly, he was everything I could wish for and more. So, this is the moment. Here's me and Tom Morello. So, Tom, welcome to the Mark and Me podcast.
Thank you for running up on me at backstage at this festival and bullying me into doing it. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, and I'll make sure I write the payment after this out to you. What I do, Tom, on every episode of the podcast, even though it's been going nearly 9 years, I always like to go kind of on a little trip down memory lane, and I'm always intrigued. When you were a kid, I remember myself going and doing a paper round, and I'd deliver papers and work my ass off for literally like $1 a week. But then I'd use that money to go to the record store and treat myself to an album. Surely you were in the same kind of boat. You would have done something to earn some money and then earned it and then hardly gone to the shops and been like, I want to buy a record.
Yes.
Do you remember, even if it's an embarrassing one or a guilty pleasure,
There
that
is
first one?
there is no music that I've liked that I am embarrassed to discuss.
That's the quote of the day already.
When I first began buying records or saving money for records, it was I was an only child, so there were no like older brothers.
Me
there was
too, only child,
There was
man.
there was no like sort of friend group that was interested
No.
in new music, so I found it on my own. And I was a comic book collector, and so the bridge between my comic collecting and rock and roll was a band called Kiss. So I saw the cover of Kiss Destroyer, and they were my favorite band before I heard a note of music.
Totally get it.
And that was, and then I would buy a magazine that had Kiss on the cover, and I learned about Aerosmith and AC/DC and Black Sabbath, et cetera, et cetera, and that began my journey. So those were the those were the bands that I would save my allowance, or I began working summers at the Renaissance Fair to give me enough disposable income for the occasional concert ticket as well.
That's incredible. And that leads lovely, because my next question was going to be, when I was 12, and I tell it all the time, and I'm sorry to these guys that always have to hear the same story, but
I can see by the looks on their faces.
Look at the eye rolls.
Yeah. Like,
here we go again. But
him again.
I was very lucky that my first gig was Green Day on their Dookie tour. In Wolverhampton, I was blown away by 3 people on stage. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, how are 3 people making this much noise? So I went home and I said to my mum and dad, I want to bleach my hair. I want to be in a band. And I never want you to try and stop me. And they were like, get a real job. This is stupid. This is not going to happen, which isn't the best. But did you have a great... I mean, Kiss as a first album is incredible. Surely Kiss wasn't your first gig.
Kiss was my first gig, but I do... as an analogy to your story, I remember going, fuck, man, I'm playing in Wolverhampton at some point in my life. And it was pretty amazing.
Wow. People at Wolverhampton right now are like, see, we're now famous.
Yeah. 1993 Rage Against the Machine, Wolverhampton. Were you there?
I was only 11.
Kiss was my first concert, and
Jesus, man.
I stood outside of the department store wherever you bought the ticket from Ticketron at the time on a cold Chicago morning. And by the time I got to the front of the line, the only tickets that were available that said a partial view of Kiss. Now, I thought this meant this was some introspective look into like their poetic souls. But what it really meant was that my ticket was behind a pole. So I was at the side of the stage behind the pole, but it was still the most exciting 2 hours of like life that I had had up until that point.
I mean, I'm 44 now, and I've been to see so many festivals and gigs, but there's something about Kiss. It's I don't know, it's just like a production. It feels like I went to the theatre and also watched a band and seen all the flames and everything. I think for yourself to start on that kind of foundation and then build up, it must have been a bit of a step down after that, because you must have been like, where's the pyro? Where's Gene Simmons going through the fucking sky?
Well, my second show was Led Zeppelin, so it wasn't much of a step down. I'm going to tell you right there.
This is a mic drop.
Too much of a step down
there.
But yeah, like my first 10 shows, it was mostly Kiss. There was one Led Zeppelin and Alice Cooper, so I was in a more theatrical rock, to begin with, and then I was always drawn to like heavy music. So it was metal, and then it was punk, and then it was hip hop, and then later on I discovered that folk music was about as heavy as anything could get. So my journey has been sort of leaning into where my artistic soul, my artistic listening soul was with regards to trying to find the outward edges.
Insane. And I suppose when I was then given that opportunity to go back to school after Green Day, met like-minded musicians, let's do a band, let's try and be Green Day. That was our mindset. Like, as long as we get those power chords and make it sound quite punky, that will work. To talk about your whole history in music in the time we've got is impossible. But I don't know what happened. So when you were at school, did you pick up the guitar and then...
No, my musical journey, all of the most pivotal moments of artistic growth and development were based around tragic failures. And the first one was I got a guitar when I was 13 years old. I wanted to play Kiss and Led Zeppelin songs. The music teacher wanted to teach me how to tune the guitar and how to play the C major scale. So I quit after 2 lessons, and the guitar sat in a closet in my house for 4 years. And I didn't touch it until the day that I bought the Sex Pistols cassette.
Oh, man.
And within 24 hours of purchasing the cassette, I was in a band. I did not know how to play a note on the guitar. I did not know how to play a chord on the guitar. I marched into the Libertyville Public High School Drama Club and said, a punk band is forming. I am the guitar player. If you'd like to be in the band, raise your hand. No experience required. A number of hands went up, and I immediately formed a band. Now, it may surprise you, but it's true that one of the people in that band from Libertyville Public High School was Adam Jones, who later became the guitar player of Tool.
Yeah. Man, you know, when I've been doing this podcast,
Getting more than you thought. I just thought it was going to be a bunch of stories about Wolverhampton in '93. How about that? Led Zeppelin, Tool. We were in a band in high school. You don't even know, dude. It's the tip of the iceberg.
Why has it took 9 years for me, and now you're like mic drop every single time? I feel like saying, what was the first film you saw in the cinema? And you'll be like, Star Wars. Like,
I don't actually remember that.
So Rage Against the Machine at that point is a way off. Obviously, you're with the guy in Tool, which is incredible.
Sure.
But when was it that you met those guys and were like, this is not just a set of musicians that haven't got any experience and we can just like-minded people?
Sure.
When is it like,
well,
this is the
serious
shit?
I started playing at 17. I had the calling at 19, which was my freshman year at Harvard University, where I was practicing in like one of the dungeon-like, places down there. The skies parted, all my other interests faded. But then I moved to Hollywood in 1986, and for 5 years was very much a struggling musician.
Yeah.
I had, again, another massive failure. I was in a band that had a record deal before Rage Against the Machine, a band called Lockup, that made an album with possibly the worst title in the history of Western music. The name of the album was Something Bitchin' This Way Comes. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, good thing that band didn't become popular.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to that.
I should have kept that to myself.
Wow.
So we were dropped from our label, and at 27 years old, not exactly a young age to be starting a band, I had my grab at the brass ring. I was never going to be a rock star. I was never going to make albums. And until then, I had kind of I'd done, you do what the producer asks, you do what the record company asks, because they're experts. They had signed Guns N' Roses. They had signed Nirvana, whatever. And so I was like, well, now that I'm not going to have a career, I might as well at least play. I can't help being a musician.
No.
So I'm going to play music that I love, and it was then that I began writing the riffs that would be the first Rage record.
Did you have a battle before this even started within your family? Because what I'm interested in when I'm speaking to musicians, especially this weekend, it's been really highlighted, is it's not just a battle to try and get your band signed. It's a battle to convince your parents that it's a real job. Like, Mum, Dad, I'm going to be a guitarist in a band. It's like, son, get a real job.
Yeah.
That's a hobby.
Not so in the Morella house. My mom, Mary Morella, was raised by a single mom who is, to this day, remains the most politically radical and the most personally popular member of the Morello family. I took my honors degree in political science from Harvard University, told my mom I'm going to move to Hollywood to live in a squat to try to be a spandex-clad heavy metal musician. She said, "Are you coming home for Thanksgiving?" I enjoyed the pure and unequivocal support from my mom in everything that I've done. She is 102 years old currently, and she sends her best regards.
We're going to dedicate this podcast to her because she just sounds like the best person on the planet. Not even just the best Morello, the best person. Yeah. And then you're talking then about writing these first riffs that then led to Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
When you sat down with those guys and then you're demoing these ideas, surely your mindset, even though you've told your mum, I'm going to be in a band, I'm going to do this, you never would have any expectations of what was going to happen next.
No, the expectations were less than zero because the Rage Against the Machine began literally with zero commercial ambition. I had played clubs in Hollywood. Yeah. I knew no one was going to book this band. There were no multiracial, neo-Marxist, rock, rap, punk rock groups that were trying to, none on the radio, none on MTV, none on any club shows. That first record, the songs for that first record were written wholly for our own edification. I had never made the record I wanted to make with Geffen, so the idea was to make a cassette just to have. Like, here's 10 songs that I like the way they sound.
Incredible.
And then, much to my surprise, the chemistry of that band and the way that we wrote songs together and performed together immediately lit a fire. I've never seen the first show we ever played in front of human beings was in a living room in Huntington Beach, California. The parents were away. The host moved the armoire to the side, and we played 5 songs. And when the first song we ever played was "Take the Power Back," which is later on the record.
Fucking hell,
and
man!
When the beat dropped, this is like a band that no one ever heard of before. There was a huge circle pit in the living room. We played the 5 songs, and people went. I'd never been around a reaction like that, even at someone else's show.
Yeah,
never been around a reaction like that. And they I'm sorry, and so we played the same 5 songs again.
Yeah,
and we were off.
It's insane. And I suppose at that point when you're recording and you've got like bomb track and all these riffs and stuff that are really building up, you surely, when it's starting to be gigging, not just in a bedroom or a lounge, and more people are coming up and people are moshing to your music and you're seeing people singing those songs back, you must be pinching yourself saying, never in a million years did I ever expect that riff to then carry across, not just to your friends and your family, to the fucking world.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the big riff from Killing in the Name, I came up with that. I was giving a guitar lesson to another, I had a little bit of a reputation with Hollywood shredders, and so some other dude who was in another Hollywood band, I was giving him a lesson, and I was teaching him how to do drop D tuning. For your listeners, it's boring, but you take one of the strings,
and you make it sound like the third string.
And you turn it down, right? But it also reconfigures the fretboard in a way that suggests different things. I gave exactly that same speech to the guitar player, and then I demonstrated by just sort of playing a riff, and it was boom doo doo chicka bone, and I said, hold on 1 second, and I took a little cassette recorder and I recorded that. We went on with the lesson, and the next day at rehearsal we wrote Killing in the Name.
Can we please have 2 more hours?
Yes,
this
we
is
may.
The greatest interview
you can
have
have a couple more minutes.
In my
you can
life.
have 5 more minutes. Here you go.
Thank you, my friend.
Go.
So now we're at Download, and you're doing your solo stuff under the name of Tom Morello.
Yeah.
What's it like knowing that there's the legacy of Rage Against the Machine, but you're also your own man doing your own stuff, and there's people that will walk across these fields with their parents who are like, Rage are one of my favorite bands, but their kids are like, this is fucking great and I want to know more, so now this is a chance to win new fans, even though you're a legend. The mindset must be like, I'm an old timer with the fucking fans that are the parents and they've got the legacy, but I'm also someone that are going to attract new people and eyes all weekend. There's not many people that can do that.
That's not how I look at it. I don't look like that at all. I look at every time I step out on the stage to try to create a little bit of the world that I would like to one day see. It is a celebration of resistance. It's a celebration of rock and roll. It's a celebration of anti-fascism. Every show, from that living room show to in about 45 minutes, I anticipate it being aiming for the possibility of it being the best one. And there's no resting on the legacy. People deserve to hear Rage Against the Machine, and they will. People love Chris Cornell in their hearts, and his memory will be served. There are songs that I've written that they don't know that are about to kick their motherfucking asses, like it's gonna stun them. I've got my 15-year-old son Roman, who's the better guitar player of the two of us. That will be revealed momentarily. Come after. Visit me afterwards and look me in the eye and tell me what you think.
I think I saw him talking to Keanu Reeves.
He was
I didn't realize you're better than your dad.
He was very excited about that. He was very excited about that. And it's very forward looking. Like I'm in the midst of making my 22nd album. But this will be the first ever Tom Morello solo rock album. My other solo records have been either sort of folk, Americana, EDM influence, but this is a record with my backup band, the Freedom Fighter Orchestra, that sort of embraces the totality of it. It's got the huge, crushing Rage and Audioslave riffs. It's got the lyric writing that I lean into in my own work that is more Dylan, Roger Waters, Bruce Springsteen-ish, and then it's got a bunch of crazy guitar solos, and I steal some riffs from my son, and we've interwoven those as well.
You're never, ever going to stop, are you? Ever.
I don't know about that. I wish that somebody else would pick up the mantle. Could you get it together? Like being the guy that's trying to save democracy,
pressure,
playing riffs is like, it's exhausting.
Well, you've got your son now. Here you go.
Exactly.
My final question before you go on stage, and I've done this for every episode of Mark and Me, and it's quite a big moment because what you've talked about just in 15 minutes blows my fucking mind, genuinely. But as this episode is all edited and ready for the world to listen to, they will hear a little riff, they'll listen to our interview, and we'll end and fade into another little riff. But then as the outro is all played, the guest on the podcast picks the music that they want to be played as the outro music. Okay. So it keeps every episode different.
Yeah.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, Tom, and it's not easy, but I reckon the
ready
song's
for
already in the head.
any question.
What is
You are not putting me on the spot.
What is the
I'm ready.
song, my friend, that you want to be played at the end of today's episode of Tom Morello on Mark and Me that means the most, that came to your heart and head when I asked the question?
Sure. It's gonna be the same song that we play off at the end. The Italian anti-fascist song Bella Ciao. It is an international anthem of fuck fascism, and in these days we need that more than ever. So whatever we talk about in the show, whatever hot riffs of mine that you play, let's leave the crowd with a sing-along Bella Ciao anti-fascism. There you have it.
I said this yesterday when I interviewed Gavin Rosdale from Bush. I do this podcast for 9 years. It's these moments that I capture forever because no one can take this recording from me. It goes out there to the world, and I say it's a photo album of my life. Cool. This is one of my favorite photos, so thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your thoughtful questioning. Appreciate you. Cheers. Peace.
So that was my interview with Tom Morello. My God, saying that out loud doesn't seem right, but it was unbelievable. I wish I had longer, but I was so grateful for the time I got. Tom is truly one of my idols when it comes to music and guitar playing. I truly look at him as one of the world's greatest people for writing riffs, for his musicianship, for his intelligence, and it was so good to have him on Mark and Me. He's someone I've wanted for years, and it's so good when these things happen and they live up to your expectations. So a huge thanks to Tom Morello for coming on Mark and Me. Right guys, this brings us to the end of this episode, and it's the end of my download specials. You've had interviews with 8 bands and a separate exclusive with Gavin Rosdale from Bush, so you've really had a bit of everything. It was one of the best weekends I've ever had. The best festival I've had this summer. It was so good. The lineup was amazing. I got to spend time with loads of great friends within the industry, meet some amazing new friends that will be coming on the podcast, and it was just a great success. I can't do a whole list of thanking people because if I miss anyone, I'll feel really bad and guilty. But everyone that helped and supported this podcast over the weekend, it's truly so appreciated that words can't even justify how grateful I am. I want to say now, if you've listened to this podcast and enjoyed it, please share it. You know the score by now. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you all use it. Just take a second to share the episode, just the artwork if you want. People will see it, will see the big names, will tune in, and before you know it, subscribe and be a listener to Mark and Me, all because you shared an episode. I'm a one-man independent team. People don't understand this. I haven't got a team and a marketing team and budget to promote the podcast. It's word of mouth. So as you're listening to this, if you do share it, it really goes a long way. Before I go, I'd like to give a shout out to the 2 sponsors of Mark and Me, starting with Richer Sounds. If you want anything to do with audio and visual, visit their high street stores or go on richersounds.com and treat yourself to something new. And finally, Vice Press. They are the best company in the world for posters. If you want a licensed print or art or some collectibles that are all official and licensed, go on their website, vicepress.com, add anything to the basket and use the discount code MarkandMe26 and you will get yourself 10% off your purchase. It really is a no-brainer. Right, I'll be back in a few days' time with the normal episodes of Mark and Me. They will resume with normal guests as normal. There won't be another festival special now until 2000 Trees. So I hope you've all enjoyed my journey at Download. I know I have. Look after yourselves out there, and I'll speak to you all very soon.
Mi sono alzato, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invasor. Oh partigiano, portami via, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Partigiano, portami via, che mi sento di morire. E se io muoio da partigiano, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. E se io muoio da partigiano, tu mi devi seppellire. E seppellire passeranno. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Tutte le genti che passeranno ti diranno che bel fior. E questo è il fiore del partigiano. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao.